I've got a bit of a hot take. I don't like building Lego. And I'm really embarrassed because 6 months ago, KBD Craft sent me their Atom keyboard. But there's one big problem with it. It's made out of Lego. Now, you're probably wondering, Hipyo, why do you hate building Lego? What is wrong with you? Did you even have a childhood? Are you perfectly sane? Well, howdy hey, I'm Hipyo Tech, and I can explain. That's right, this Lego keyboard is $60, and I have been told by so many of you that I need to look at it because apparently it's amazing. So in this video, I am putting myself through the theoretical Lego gauntlet to build this for you and put it to the test. And you know what? Maybe at the end of this, I'll come out of it slightly liking Lego more, or I will completely give up. Yeah. All jokes aside, I genuinely don't like building Legos just because I think it's kind of tedious and kind of annoying, and it's just not for me. But I understand that some people really, really love it. Now, in this box is the KBD Craft Atom. This keyboard was sent to me 6 months ago. So this is the version 1, and the version that's out right now is the version 2. I'll put some of the differences on screen, but it's not that significant. Now, the box is very cute. This is apparently a gasket mounted keyboard. So I'm gonna be putting that to the test to see are Lego gaskets any good. Obviously, the PCB is not built out of Legos, but I'll be looking at that in a second. Now, this keyboard was sent to me for free by KBD Craft, and I'll have affiliate links down below where if you purchase this keyboard, I do make money. Oh, yeah. Now, opening the box, I see a couple things. The keycaps that come with the full kit are double shot PBT. Double shot PBT, in my opinion, is just kind of significantly worse than die sub PBT, but we'll be putting them to the test. Now, granted, these are made out of plastic, so they're basically Legos, right? But we'll look at more of those keycaps later. I have to assume that these are not real Legos considering they don't have the Lego logo on them. These are the bricks, but they say that they're 100% Lego compatible. It seems like these two bags comprise the whole build of the keyboard. And now I'm gonna do a rapid fire of the accessories included with the board. So we have a coiled cable, which seems to be one of the tackiest and potentially ugliest coiled cables I've ever seen. I guess he's kind of cute, very preference-based. We've also got stabilizers and lube included in like this little lube pouch, which is a very cool touch. Now, similar to my hopes and dreams, these stabilizers are incredibly bone dry, but the included lube means that I'm gonna need to lube them myself. Now, the Atom also comes with switches that we'll look at later, and I'm very curious if these switches are gonna be any good or not. Also included is hopefully a build guide. So hopefully with this lovely assembly guide that is included, I'm not going to struggle and fail. This is not foreshadowing whatsoever. It's going to be a great and easy breezy build. I love Lego. This appears to be the base of the keyboard, and then this appears to be the PCB and stuff. This is a really, really nice packaging job for like such an affordable keyboard. The Atom is a hot swap board with south-facing LEDs. This means that in order to build it, I won't need a soldering iron and I won't get super ultra lung cancer, I guess. The PCB is incredibly simple and doesn't appear to support any alternate layouts. So if that's your type of thing, this probably isn't for you. Now, looking at the assembly guide, I feel like this won't be the worst thing ever to build, but it's still building Lego. So I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm hoping that the end goal is worth it. It's gonna be worth it, right? But wait, there's a couple things that I left out of the case. Yeah, this appears to be plate foam, but it appears that I have to punch out every hole myself.
2 hours later.
There, I did it. Only took 2 hours to get all these little dots. If you would like one of these dots, please leave a comment down below that says, please Hipyo, give me one of those dots. I really need your dots, Hipyo, please, thank you. And last but not least is the plate, which has little butts on it. We'll be looking at why it has little butts later, but I think that has to do with the gasket mount. Now, generally, if you watch Hipyo Tech videos, this is the part of the video where I show you the keyboard case and I tell you all about the keyboard, but I don't have a keyboard case, so I'm gonna have to build it. This is the part of the story arc where things start to get pretty grim. Oh, yeah. Now, in order to build the Atom, it's incredibly simple. All you have to do is build your Atom. Follow the guide to achieve the maximum strength of the Atom. So I'm assuming that I need this. This is definitely the step 1, draw the owl type of thing. Okay, so the first step is going to be frame the keyboard. So let me go ahead and try that. The first step of why I already don't like Legos is all these pieces. There's all these pieces that just, they don't make sense. And everything is like its own little thing. And it's like, you need 4 of these pieces. If you use this piece instead of that piece, then you're dumb. And I'm like, bro, 5s? I need 5s and I got 4s? See? This is stupid. I'm already a step behind just because I'm dumb and I can't count. I think Legos make me feel dumber than anything in the whole world. Okay, and just like that, we finished the first layer. Now, guys, that's step 2. Step 3 kind of just says do it again. After building layer 2, it's at this point that I really just hope I haven't made any mistakes, because this is my foundation. And if I've made mistakes to my foundation, we're doomed. Now, step 2 and 3 were relatively easy, but step 4 is where it starts to look a lot more advanced. I have literally no idea what's going on here. Now, after assembling all the pieces for step 4, it was a little bit more daunting because I'm having to deal with these red lines and then also these gasket parts, and I'm not entirely sure what it wants from me, but I'm gonna try my best. So far, this isn't that terrible. I'm not hating my life too much. So the gaskets for this board are a little bit more interesting. Because everything uses a brick format, these gaskets also use a brick format. It says that this current step 4, is the best time to put them on. So I will actually listen to them and put them on at this step. Ooh, yeah. As far as installing the gaskets goes, have you ever tried fitting a square peg into a round hole? Because that's almost what this feels like. You'd think this would be really easy. It's like, just put on the Lego, Hipyo. Just put the Lego on. But it's like, for some reason, there's so much more struggle to it. Now, overall, installing the gaskets was not that bad. Probably the least bad step of building this whole entire keyboard, just because it feels like building a keyboard again. But what I wasn't ready for was the next step. Finish drawing the owl. And I've been putting this off. Let's just say I've been putting this off because as we get to the final steps, that's when we get to the part of seeing if we messed up or not. And nobody likes to know that they've messed up. I'm just gonna do this so fast and so easily that you guys are gonna be like, wow, Hipyo, you've suddenly overcome your fear of Lego and are becoming a certified Lego master. If building this keyboard was like a freeform experience and not so rigid, I think I might enjoy it a lot more. Like if I got the pieces myself and then was like, how do I build this keyboard? I think I'd enjoy it a lot more than just like a manual telling me how to do it. But again, we're not building this for the sake of building Lego. We're building this because apparently it's an amazing budget keyboard. Now, with step 5 done, for some reason the manual tells me that I need to have the whole entire keyboard assembly basically done. So before we hit the menacing step 6, I'm going to assemble the rest of the keyboard. The next step is going to be to lube the stabilizers. Ooh, yeah. Now, for the stabilizers, they came included with the board and they appear to be plate mount stabilizers rather than PCB screw-in stabilizers. The board has spots for PCB screw-in stabilizers, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use the ones that are included just to see if they're any good, because that'd probably be what you use at home. So to lube them up, I'm just gonna, wow, all the stabilizers are lubed, just like that. Now, in order to build the actual keyboard part, super duper simple. Here's what we do. We pop the stabilizers into the plate, boop, and boop. Now we gotta pop in all the other stabilizers too. For the actual keyboard assembly, it's just 3 simple pieces. A plate, a foam that goes in between the plate, and the PCB. To assemble the board itself, easy peasy. This is so much easier than Legos. I love this so much, I'm having lots of fun. All you do is take the plate foam, put that on the PCB, then you take the plate and you put it on top. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we're ready for something, and something that I haven't looked at yet. This board came with switches. They're called the switch or S squared. Now these say that they're pre-lubed, but we're gonna be putting that to the test, as pre-lubed on switches can mean a wide variety of things. You can have pre-lubed switches that sound incredibly good, or pre-lubed switches that sound like they've never even been touched by lube. What I like to call the LaCroix of pre-lubed switches that don't even sound like they were in the same room as lube. Oh! They smell like fish. What the hell? Why do they smell like fish? I've heard from friends that certain lubricants in China smell like fish. This is one of them. Wow, that smells bad. I don't even want to put these fish switches in my keyboard, but I guess we're gonna. My first impression is they're actually shockingly smooth, and maybe the lubrication wasn't a lie. Maybe the fish smell really goes a long way. There's a very tiny bit of ping, but it really sounds like the springs were actually lubed. So I'm hopeful that these will sound good in the keyboard. Now, to insert these switches into your keyboard, you want to make sure when you're inserting, you support them from the back. This means that you're putting one little finger on each hot swap socket as you go to insert the switches. Now, when doing a setup like this, I always like to start with the corners, as this will help you get your foundation first before you move on to the center bits. So remember, anytime you're hitting it from the front, support it from the back. Don't take that out of context. This has been a Hipyo tech tip. And then for the rest of the switches, I recommend you use a little bit of magic and you just... Okay, I now have all of the switches on the board. Now for the unfortunate Lego part of the build, we've got step 5 done, which means that this should just fit in like this, right? Kind of. A little bit of a tight tolerance, but I mean, we've got a gasket mount going on here. So now that we've got this part in, it's time to move on to the step 6. What I think I might do is pull this thing out real fast, and I've got all of this spare foam, and I think I'm just gonna willy-nilly toss it in there. Why am I tossing in all this spare foam willy-nilly? Who knows, it might improve the sound of the board. Now, step 6 is the step I've been dreading this whole entire time, and that is the finish the owl type of step. For step 6, there's a lot going on here. Like, we've got these weird corner pieces. We need 2 of those. I guess that's actually not that bad. Then we've got these even weirder single corner pieces. You put 2 of them on each side, like this. Then we've got like 15 of these guys. So I'm putting them on over everything, even the gasket. That's interesting. I feel like the gasket is basically pointless here, honestly. Earlier I said it might do something. I think once you've built it, I think you're getting virtually no gasket performance. Okay, hold on. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Step 6 wasn't that bad. Now, don't get me wrong. This whole process has felt very tedious to me. I'm not gonna say I enjoyed it, and I'm also not done yet, because I think there's a step 7. It does appear that step 7 is just cover everything up. I think I can do that relatively easy. Guys, this is character development. I'm figuring out Lego. That was almost fun. Almost. We're almost done. We're in the final stretch. They said it couldn't be done. They said Hipyo Tech hates Legos. He can't build a Lego keyboard. He's gonna go insane before he builds a Lego keyboard. Well, guess what? Hipyo Tech has built a Lego keyboard. They said it couldn't be done. As far as the aesthetics go, the keyboard is very obviously built from Lego. Like, there's seams along the whole entire thing. You see Lego stud bottoms on the bottom. It's definitely a aesthetic that some people might really enjoy and some people might really not. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, Hipyo, that's clearly not a finished keyboard. I'm looking at switches and a case. Well, you're correct. That isn't a finished keyboard. I actually need to put the keycaps on. Oh, yeah. For the keycaps, they actually gave me 2 different sets. Originally, I thought that these were a gray option or a white option, and honestly, I think that having it like this is so much worse because I was really looking forward to an all gray set. The keycaps themselves, they're definitely nothing to write home about. They're your average Dysub PBT keycaps, the types of things that you would find as clones on Amazon for maybe $25 or so. This is a budget keyboard, so of course the keycaps are gonna be budget. Now for the keycaps, you already know how to put on keycaps. You literally take the keycap and you put it on, and then you go, wow, I've put on keycaps. So I'm just gonna save you the time. All right, there we go. We've got the keycaps on. And the first thing I noticed is this is sliding around my desk like a lot. So I don't know if the newer version comes with rubber feet or not, but it really needs it. Now, the gasket performance is basically nothing. Maybe like a GMMK Pro level of gasket performance, where if you're typing normally, you will not notice the fact that this is gasket mounted. Now, there's one thing that you guys have probably been waiting for this whole entire video. one thing that is unique to every keyboard and sets it apart and really gives it that distinguishing factor. We're looking at the keyboard's lighting. The lighting, guys, the RGB. The best part about this keyboard is its epic RGB gamer time. Yes, for $100, you get full RGB. This is per key RGB, and it is a little bit editable with software. Now, the RGB is definitely a really good touch, and because they're south facing, you won't have any interference if you swap out these keycaps later for cherry profile. So I built the keyboard, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as I hate building Legos, building this one actually wasn't that bad. It was still building Legos, and as Hipyo Lego hater tech, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. But I'm gonna be honest, if you're a beginner and this is gonna be one of your first keyboards, it was easier to build as a whole than some other keyboards that I've built. But you're probably wondering, Hipyo, at the beginning of this video, you said that this keyboard has been called an amazing budget keyboard and one of the best budget keyboards. Does it actually hold up? Are those people just lying to you? Well, okay. Here's what we'll get into. Overall, I would say for 60 bucks, this keyboard's case is pretty decent. Now, the solid ABS of these Legos makes for a pretty good case material. The fact that it's super dense and decently weighted gives the board a really nice mid-range sound, like not too thocky, not too clacky. My version doesn't have rubber feet because it was the version 1, but if you order it today with the link down below, then you will actually end up with rubber feet. Now, the typing experience leaves a little bit to be desired, as the gaskets don't feel like much, and the plastic doesn't give you as solid of a bottom out as you'd want for a rough bottom out. Overall, I'd say the aesthetics are very subjective here. Some people definitely will not like having seams down their whole entire keyboard. If you like having seams down your whole entire keyboard, please let me know. But overall, the sound is pretty good. The feel is pretty good. And the value is very, very good. The keycaps are nice, the switches feel smooth, and you know what? I still hate building Lego.